And we're going to start with the harder discussion that we have to have. I shouldn't say that we have to have it because we don't have to have it. But the way that Jake and I have, taken our approach to this show now is that we want to promote positivity. So Jake and I, after the shooting that happened in Texas, Jake and I asked ourselves, what can we do? There's a lot of people asking, like Steve Kerr, if you've seen his press conference yesterday, he's asking, what are we doing? There's legislators asking, what are we doing? Because it seems like there's a lot of nothing being done. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that Jake and I are not going to get this to be political at all. We will never do that on our show. We will never do anything, politically motivated on our show. That's not what we're here for. What we are here for, though, is to spread positivity in the best ways that we can. So it's hard to answer the question, how, as two guys that talk about Wisconsin sports every week, can we positively influence a situation where a school shooting happened in Texas? I mean, it's a sad situation that we're in.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to say, oh, we're in Wisconsin, that didn't happen here. It doesn't affect me as much as it does somebody in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But my thought as a sports fan is, the Bucks just left the NBA playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You may be like me, and you may be in some NBA groups. The Mavericks are still playing. So you can be having a discussion with a Dallas Mavericks fan who might know somebody who was affected by that. So we're all closer to these things, and we're more interconnected than we think we are with these things. So while it might not affect you directly, you might know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody who was very directly affected. And so, like I said, Jake and I asked the question, what can we as two guys that talk about Wisconsin sports every week do? And, the main thing that came to my mind was that we can continue to tell people that our show, as long as you are respectable with the way that you are with others, you are welcome here. We want to prioritize inclusion. That's why, it's a different situation, it's a different perspective, but we say that there are no such thing as dumb questions. The only dumb question is the one you don't ask. So you can ask us super simple questions.
100%.
Or you can ask us really complex questions. Like later on today, we're going to talk about some different types of baseball stats that people might not be familiar because they're not super mainstream. Baseball's a really hard sport to break tradition with. But, we want to continue to let people know that our show is inclusive. That's why we do the shows live, so you can be a part of this with us. We want to build a community with this. We want to have people that enjoy interacting with us during the show. So that's just what Jake and I are doing on the screen. In social media, just you can be fucking nicer to people.
Yeah, just because you're behind a screen doesn't mean you have to talk shit. And I'm a person that likes talking trash, but I've taken a step back recently with everything that's been going on, and I'm not trying to cut off Tyler's time here, but that last comment that you just said really, really hit home. You could be nice to people. We can come together as a nation. I don't have to like the same sports teams, but just because somebody likes is a Bears fan, I'm not going to be an asshole to him just because he's a Bears fan. That just doesn't make sense to me. You can continue, Tyler.
It costs you literally nothing to be nice to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And, people might like different things than you. It's possible that, people might have different views than you. You don't have to agree to get along. That's part of where like sports can teach you a lesson there, is that, we have rivals, we have opponents, we have people that we want to beat. Sometimes we have opponents and we want to wipe the floor with them. We want to blow them out. We want to beat them 100-0. But we can still wish well for those people outside of the competition.
100%.
So that's why, like I'll use James as an example. James is a Saints, Red Sox, Predators, Celtics fan. He watches our show regularly.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a fan of any of the same teams as us. I mean, I have the Predators in common with him, but that's because of Milwaukee.
Yep.
So, like I said, I mean, it costs you nothing to just be nice to people. To be, like I said, Jake and I, we want to hammer home this notion of inclusion, that you are welcome to come and hang out with the comments as long as you're not being a dick to other people. But that's also what we're saying on top of this. So, that's what Jake and I want to do. We want to take people's opinions of their sports teams, frame them in a more optimistic way so that people have optimism in their lives. Because obviously some people don't. And then they do really sad shit that ends up hurting more people than you could probably actually fathom. Yes, Matt, that is exactly it. You can't wipe out hate with hate. That's why this, like, an example yesterday was um, the Packer urinal thing, where above the Packer urinal, which I'm totally fine with, a guy had a picture of Aaron Rodgers laying on the ground after he had his collarbone broken by Anthony Barr. No problem with the Packer urinal. That's a rivalry thing. Have your fun with that. But on the top of
That's kind
that,
of funny. Let's be honest. That's kind of
I
funny.
mean, it doesn't bother me. Like, that's a
Yeah.
rivalry thing. That's harmless.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're up there, you're promoting that injury. That's where it starts to be. I draw the line there.
I agree.
But that being said, it does not help anything in the world for you to say you're promoting an injury. I hope you break your knee. I hope you break your ankle. I hope I hope you get in a car crash on your way home because you're promoting this guy being injured. So, what it comes down to is just being better people. We can, like I said, it costs you literally nothing to be nice to people, even if you don't agree with them or even if you think they're a dick. I went back and forth with somebody yesterday who thinks that Rodgers is a D-bag on and off the field. So he felt he deserved to have his collarbone broken. I think Manny Machado's a D-bag for stepping on one of the Brewers' ankles in the, 2018 NLDS. Doesn't mean I wish Manny Machado was break his collarbone or have one of his children killed at a school shooting. There's nothing that deserves that type of action. So, what it comes down to, like I said, is Jake and I aren't going to be. We're not going to have a political discussion on the Second Amendment or whatever. Like, this is not the place for that. What Jake and I want to do is we want to positively affect people,
Yeah.
because it's people that are doing these things and it's people that are affected. So Jake and I are asking the question, what can we do for people? So hopefully when you come watch this show, like, yeah, you get some cool information about your favorite Wisconsin sports teams. You can, maybe Jake and I'll make you laugh once in a while because Jake and I like to goof around because Jake and I have been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get some good information from what we're talking about.
True.
That's the type of things that we are doing. That's the type of things we want to continue doing, and we want to frame it in a positive way because we want that optimism for people. Because if you can take optimism from what you're seeing from us for 2 hours every Wednesday and occasionally on Fridays, if you can take some optimism from that and apply it to your life, that's our mission. That's something that Jake and I would get, real positive, like, lifetime vibes from, is to be able to say that, we had people that followed our show for how long? We've been doing this for about a year and a half. And if we can have people walk away from our show and, turn it off and say, hey, the YouTube show that I just watched about Wisconsin sports, it was kind of funny and made me laugh. And, I have a more positive outlook on what the rest of the Brewers season looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That's, it's a weird thing to kind of take from trying to be a Wisconsin sports show and then also putting positivity into people's lives. But that's what we're trying to do.
I agree. All right. Are you ready? Are you done? Are you good?
Are you
Get
done?
everything off
Are
your
you good?
chest.
Do you want to say anything else? I don't know
I
if you want to
do.
say anything else.
I don't know the direction that I'm trying to go here, and I'm not going to make this long-winded. I'm just going to make it short. I do believe that there is a lot of problems in this country. Like I said, we're not going to make this political, but I do personally think that mental health is a topic that maybe we can discuss on a bonus episode. Where we can discuss how because everybody has a form of anxiety or depression, right? Everybody
Mm-hmm.
deals with
Mm-hmm.
stuff, right? Everybody has stuff going on, and that's where it works out perfect. That's just how life works, right? So for me, I've always used sports and my experiences in sports to teach me life lessons, along with, the great crew of people that I have with me, Tyler included. Tyler's been there for, God, my girlfriend was just down here before the show, and Tyler was making comments how he's seen me be every phase of life, and that's true, man. Tyler has seen me grow into the person I am today, and it's crazy how mature I am. I think about the stuff that I used to do and act and say, and it's just like cringy, man. It's cringy how I used to be, man, really. But if I can help, if Tyler can help, if we can help together, help people grow into their full form, and me and Tyler are not fully formed yet. We are. I have a couple people close to me. One person particularly, Tyler, who talks about leveling up in life. And Tyler, the first time I think that you said that to me was probably about a month ago. And when you first said it to me, I was at work and I was having a really long bad day. And I remember looking at my phone. I'm sitting there by my giant pallet, and I'm just like, yeah, man, it's time to level up. So when we talk about leveling up, it's not just, on this show. We're talking about leveling up as people, being more mature and handling things the right way. Now, not everybody's going to have kids, but this generation of kids is growing up seeing all this stuff on the news. So we need to help them understand what's happening, and we need to help them form them into great adults so that this stuff can end. Because I'm going to try not to get emotional because this stuff really, really hit home for me, man. Because I got a 9-year-old stepson, and all these kids that were getting shot and killed were 8, 9, 10 years old. So every time that I'm seeing this and I'm reading stuff on my phone, I'm just thinking about my stepson just cowering in his classroom, man, and it just breaks my heart. And I see how his little friends come over and, like, they're just goofballs, man. 9-year-olds have no idea about the world. They have no clue what is going on, man. So I say to all the people that aren't parents, if you're the funkle, like I was the funkle for a while, the fun uncle. If you're just a funkle, you have a great opportunity to teach your niece or nephew a lot of valuable lessons and how to handle things the correct way. So with that being said, because I feel like I'm rambling on now, I just want to say let's all be better people, and let's teach this generation how to be men, how to be women, and how to handle things properly.
How to be people. That's the way that we get through
We are
any
one
of
Reno.
the issues.
I don't want to.
Go ahead. Matt,
I
appreciate
don't
your
want to see
comments
the
too.
race stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to see any of that. I'm so sick of the race stuff. I'm sick of I'm just sick of it all, man. Like, I see people as people. Point blank, period. Simple. I can have a conversation with anybody. We could talk about anything, man. We could talk about aliens. I don't even really particularly believe in aliens, but if I talk to somebody that does, they might make me believe. And I'm okay with that. I'm a very open-minded person. I'm an open book. I will tell you everything about myself. I just want people to be people again. That's all I want. I don't want to have to walk on eggshells with every conversation I have, Because now every time that you go into a conversation, you're like, what can I not talk about with this person? And I don't want to do that. That's why that's part of the reason why me and you started this. It was because we love sports, but me and you are good people. I really truly believe that we have good hearts and we get along with everybody. Like Tyler said 100 times, and we will say it a million times more, part of our mission is to, promote positivity, promote happiness, and that's what we're going to continue doing. We got a lot of wonderful people in our comments. Matt, Scott, James. I've seen a couple other people. Big Cheese. I mean, we got some good people here, man. Let's just always be people, man. At the end of the day.
And that's the thing is, like, when it comes to these things, the only way we're gonna solve all this shit is together. It does not do anybody any good for you to say, I'm pointing at you and you're pointing at me. It's like playing tug of war, but you both have the same amount of strength. Nobody's ever going to win. That's, it's not, it doesn't have to be constantly my side needs to win or you need to agree with me. Like, we can just talk about stuff. Man, we would love to have Rogers and Lazard on the show to talk about aliens.
I love that comment. Love it, man. I
Um,
love that comment. You know, you guys have met my brother Curtis. He actually lives in Iowa, and they're saying that Lazard is in Iowa right now, just trying to enjoy the off season as much as possible. So I told my brother, I was like, "Hey, man, go out there and try to find Alan Lazard for me because you drive all over the state anyways, and put the word in, man."
yeah, and that's, it is sad that we have to tiptoe around people, but like,
Yeah.
if we can just come together and say, hey, like, we are all people. Let's move forward as people. So that's what Jake and I are going to do. We're going to continue to try to just promote the positivity that we can through the discussions that we have, and maybe give people a 2 hour escape from stress to just listen to a couple guys talk about Wisconsin sports and throw some comments in that we can respond to.
Great.
It's a big battle to fight, especially trying to fight it through the lens of a Wisconsin sports talk show. But that's what we're trying to do.